What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with another season of the Deep video, and in this one, we're going to be talking about new Eververse items for the season, and specifically we'll focus on items that can be sold for Bright Dust as well as Silver, and initially we'll be looking at the new stuff for Season of the Deep. So this is a video that we do every season, and the idea behind the video is essentially a guide so that you guys know which items are going to be sold for both currencies, and so if you don't want to spend Silver on an item and instead want to spend Bright Dust, you'll know which of the cosmetics are going to come up for both of those cost options. This time around, things are a little bit different though, as typically Today in Destiny is able to break down the schedule for Eververse items, and this time Bungie have made that impossible to view, so we know which cosmetics are going to be sold for which currencies, but we don't know at exactly which points in the season they'll actually come up for sale. So the schedule component is missing, but at least from watching this video, you'll know which items you don't want to spend Silver on. Big shout out to Today in Destiny, their Eververse calendar is absolutely awesome and really helpful, so that is linked down below. But now let's talk about the new items for the season that are going to come up for both of those currencies. And so, starting out with armor ornaments right here, initially there is Olmsted's Downfall, which is a new ornament for the Blight Ranger. This new Hunter ornament will be available for both 600 Silver or 1500 Bright Dust this season, and the same costs will apply to all of the exotic armor ornaments. So up next there is Chivalry's Chill, a new ornament for the Cadmus Ridge Lance Cap. Then for Warlocks we have the Ionic Fringe, which is a new ornament for the Fallen Sunstar. Safe to say some of these are pretty cool. And on top of that, the Guy Falcon's Hauberk will get a new one called Pressure Stabilizer. Then for the Titan's Point Contact Cannon Brace, there'll be the Anchorage ornament, which is a pretty cool Scorn-themed ornament right there. And finally for the Starfire Protocol, there is Phoenix Fusion. So again, all of them will be available for 600 Silver, but if you'd rather wait and spend Bright Dust, each of them will also come up for 1500 Bright Dust at some point in the season. Moving on to weapon ornaments though, a few new ones here which are pretty cool, and initially there is Dreaming Clarity, which is a new ornament for the Monte Carlo. New weapon ornaments for the season will be available for 700 Silver, but their Bright Dust cost will remain at 1250. So on top of Dreaming Clarity, we'll also get the Hibernal Thorns, which is a name I'm probably butchering there, but this is a new Winterbite ornament and it is a pretty cool one. Then finally for new exotic weapon ornaments, there'll be the Outrunner ornament for the Arbalist, which was the community voted ornament. Obviously we should mention, other items will be sold for Bright Dust this season, but they are returning items from previous seasons. Then moving away from those, we get onto new exotic emotes. So firstly there is Peace by the Water. The individual purchase cost for Silver for this is 1000 Silver, but these are also going to come up for 3250 Bright Dust in the season as well. Next we have the Circling Sharks exotic emote, plus there's one called Bailing Water. Then we get onto the multiplayer emotes, and we'll see initially the Kiddie Pool exotic multiplayer emote, and these ones will be 1200 Silver, but a 4250 Bright Dust cost. And additionally, there'll be the Row Your Boat exotic multiplayer emote as well. New legendary emotes this season though consist of the Down Under Dance, and the legendary emotes there we can see will cost 500 Silver or 700 Bright Dust. And additionally there will be the Catch of the Day legendary emote, as well as the You Say Dance emote. Then there are a couple of rare ones here, so these are going to cost 200 Silver or 400 Bright Dust, and initially there is the Mime Time emote, but we will also see the All Done Rare emote and the Cherubic emote. I should mention here as well, we're getting Solstice of Heroes this season, and as always that will have some Eververse items included. Many of the new ones for the season aren't actually visible just yet, so we'll speak about those separately when we get more info. But getting onto the Ghost Shells here, for exotic shells, initially there is the Rov Shell, and it looks like the individual purchase cost for this will be 600 Silver, with the Bright Dust cost being 2850. Those costs will apply to all of the Bright Dust exotic ghosts that are new this season. So additionally, we get the Constant Vigilance Shell, and finally the Digital Pet Shell. That takes us on to exotic sparrows though, and firstly there is the JJ2 Research Rover. Individual costs for sparrows are 800 Silver and 2500 Bright Dust. So we'll also see the Asymmetric Force exotic sparrow, and very finally the Bright Nostalgia Sparrow. In terms of exotic ships though, they'll be up for 800 Silver or 2000 Bright Dust, and they include the prototype submersible ship, so we can get our own little submarine there, but there's also the Scrivener's Skipper, as well as the Rapid Response, and finally the Star Racer 95. There's only one new Bright Dust Ghost projection that I can see right here, and that will be the All Together Now projection, with the costs listed as 200 Silver or 1500 Bright Dust. Otherwise, we don't have any visible new shaders for the season that'll come up for Bright Dust. So we'll have to see if that changes at some point in the course of the season. However, very finally, for Transman effects, initially, there is the Unspun Fate Transman effect. These have listed prices of 200 silver or 450 Bright Dust. Additionally though, there is the Resurrected Shadow Transman effect, which will have the same costs applied. So that does it for new Season of the Deep items that are available for both currencies, although there's been a lot of conversation in the community about how many of the items this season are silver only, and the increase in price for a lot of those items as well. So, for instance, the seasonal armor sets that are silver look like they are going to cost 2,000 silver each this time. Previously, I believe they were 1,200 and then perhaps 1,500 silver each. But now if you're buying them on an individual basis at least, they're listed as 2,000 silver, which is certainly reasonably expensive. You'll also see right here some silver-only weapon ornaments, so things like Vexplosion for Sunshot, Ithic Flight for Quicksilver Storm, the Arinyes SG-1, which is an ornament for Conditional Finality, and the Mara Multitool, which is an Awoken ornament for Multitool right there. So there are some pretty cool ones, but there is certainly more of a silver focus this season on a lot of the items. Outside of those though, we are going to see quite a few Season of the Seraph, and even Season of Defiance items repopulating the Eververse store for both silver and Bright Dust in the rest of the season. So give us your thoughts on that. I certainly get the frustration from some folks about some of the cost increases, especially alongside the increase to costs for the season pass in general. And it will mix things up a little bit when it comes to seasonal resets and stuff, as we're not going to see all of the items that are up each week in advance. So stay tuned on the channel for the weekly vendor resets, which I do post on Tuesday if you're not around at the time that reset happens. At least I can give you a bit of a heads up. And once again, separately, we will have the Solstice of Heroes stuff to cover at some point during the season as well. For now though, let us know which items stand out most to you guys from this season. And despite the fact that we don't have the full schedule, I hope that this is at least helpful when planning what you may want to purchase and for which currencies. So if you've enjoyed the video, a rating below really does help us out. Plus, if you want to see more Destiny content, be sure to get subscribed and I will keep you up to date. Otherwise though, for today, I appreciate you all tuning in, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.